When they tie a can to a union man.
Sit down, sit down.
When they give him the sack, they'll take him back.
Sit down, sit down, sit down. Take a seat, sit down and rest your feet. Sit down, you gotta be. Sit down, sit down.
When they smile and say no raising pay.
Sit down, sit down.
When you want the boss to come across.
Sit down, sit down, sit down. Take a seat, sit down and rest your feet. Sit down, you gotta be. Sit down, sit down.
We sat down in the auto plants for 44 days, and we came out with a union contract.
In the men's clothing field, victory. Industry-wide collective bargaining bringing order out of chaos. Auto organized, CIO. Steel organized, textile organized. Rubber, oil, copper, merchant marine, furniture workers, glass workers, leather workers, packing house workers, and wood workers. In 3 years, 5 million Americans organized. CIO.
My brothers and my sisters.
1968, Memphis, Tennessee. A local labor dispute escalates into a major battle for economic and civil rights. It draws Martin Luther King Jr. into the final confrontation of his life and marks the end of an era in the civil rights movement.
If you can't get a decent salary for men who are working in the name of God, how the hell are you going to get rid of poverty?
The movement begins to attract the attention of national civil rights leaders.
Now, one other point that's happening here. There's been so much tension between some of the trade unions and some of the civil rights groups that all over the country people are telling me, you can't depend on the unions, they're anti-Negro, they won't stand with you. Well, I think the record here shows that in Memphis, this fight is going to be won because the black people of this community and the trade unions stand together, man to man.
All labor has dignity. But you are doing another thing. You are reminding not only Memphis, but you are reminding the nation that it is a crime for people to live in this rich nation and receive starvation wages. March again, and we've got to march again in order to put the issue where it is supposed to be. And force everybody to see that there are 1,300 of God's children here suffering. Now about injunctions. We have an injunction, and we're going into court tomorrow morning to fight this illegal, unconstitutional injunction. All we say to America is be true to what you said on paper. If I lived in China or even Russia or any totalitarian country, maybe I could understand some of these illegal injunctions. Maybe I could understand the denial of certain basic First Amendment privileges because they haven't committed themselves to that over there. But somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest for right. And so just as I say we aren't going to let any dogs or water hoses turn us around, we aren't going to let any injunction turn us around. We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop. And I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And he's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
Martin Luther King Jr. was killed tonight in Memphis, Tennessee, shot in the face as he stood alone in the balcony of his hotel room. He died in a hospital an hour later.
As of this morning, as of less than a half hour ago, as a matter of fact, your committee reached an agreement with the city.
Union officials spell out the terms of the agreement. They include salary increase, benefits, grievance procedure, fair treatment, and most importantly, official recognition of the union by the city of Memphis.
The summer of 1973 was one of the roughest we've had. 2 of our strikers were killed. Dozens of our people were beaten. And thousands were arrested and thrown in jail. And all because we dared to stand up to the growers when they made one more desperate attempt to crush our union.
Oh, brother. You learn the confidence. Look at this condition. I mean, this isn't fair.
Yeah, how many people left in the camp right now?
Delano is where a union was born. Most of us here went through the first strike, including hundreds of Filipino brothers who were the first to walk out of the fields in '65.
We really appreciate what the union has really given us. We have medical plans, we have conditions in the field, we have toilets, we have ice water, we have drinking cups. We never had those before.
Yeah.
Never.
And they have none of that here today, huh? That's
and
the
today,
thing, huh?
today, when our contract is expired, only for a few days, those things are not here anymore. Look at this. And it's really terrible. See, these growers, if they can get away with it, they do it. Yeah. They do it. That is what has been happening in the past.
Dahil sa iyo, dahil sa iyo.
Brothers and sisters, the work before you is very clear. We want you to take out
out everybody in those fields. Wherever possible, let's make sure that the grapes turn into raisins on the vines. Let's make sure that in the boycott, if the growers sell the grapes, make sure that the grapes are sold for less money than what it costs them to pick them. Very important that we work day and night. We have to put maximum input. We've got to put an awful lot of work into winning this election. We can win very soon. Thank you. We're not afraid. If this is what it takes to build a union, a free and democratic union, and a good union for good people, we're willing to do it. As long as there's 1 ounce of strength in our bodies, that ounce of strength will be used to fight for this good cause. And in the end, we will win.
With campaigns underway in 20 cities, Justice for Janitors was ready for its biggest challenge. Los Angeles, where the power structure of the city had taken advantage of a change in workforce to strip the union's master contract and reduce wages from $7.50 to $4.50 an hour with no benefits. The downtown building janitors of the City of Angels were ready for Justice for Janitors.
Y más respeto para todos los janitos. ¡Sí se puede! ¡Sí se puede! ¡Sí se puede! ¡Sí se puede!
Through public pressure, legal actions, and corporate tactics, the janitors brought building after building back on the union contract. Following the police riot at Century City, public outrage poured in from around the world. The mayor of Los Angeles called for a police commission investigation.
What happened?
SEIU Local 399 filed a $10 million damage suit against the LA Police Department. And in Los Angeles, dozens of union, political, and community leaders turned out at Century City to announce a bigger, more powerful march. The press conference turned into a victory celebration with the announcement that ISS had agreed to the union master contract. The settlement would bring union wages and benefits to 2,500 janitors in Southern California. 2 days later, the men and women of Century City marched again, this time with more than 1,000 supporters. Their celebration sent a message that the struggle for justice continues, and that the struggle can be won wherever there are workers willing to stand and proclaim, yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Solidarity.